In GTA 5, we all love cars, and we love upgrading the cars as well. But how much extra performance do you get out of the upgrades for cars in GTA 5? We know that a fully upgraded car is definitely a lot better than a completely stock car, but which upgrades specifically give you the most performance? And we're going to go over that today, along with which order you should buy your upgrades in if you are low on money. So with that said, I hope you enjoy this video, and let's get into some of the tests. For the first test, we'll be doing some simple drag races, starting from here and making your way all the way down to the finish line right over here, about a quarter mile away. And we're going to be testing it out first with a stock car versus an upgraded car. So let's take a look at the drag race and see the difference between them. So the upgraded car did end up beating the stock car, obviously. In a quarter mile, it doesn't seem like too much of a difference, but when you're doing races and just driving around, there is a huge difference. So now let's take a closer look at which upgrades give the most performance. The Sultan specifically has 5 EMS levels, unlike most other cars where they only have 4. But we're going to be testing a stock car versus an EMS level 4 car versus an EMS level 5 car, with no other upgrades except the engine modifications. So it's pretty clear EMS 5 slaps, EMS 4 is a pretty close second, and stock completely sucks. So if you're going to upgrade your engine in GTA 5, you can expect to reduce your quarter mile time by about 1 second from the engine upgrades. So for this test, both cars will start right here on the track and race all the way down the track to this guy right here. Once they pass this guy, I'm going to slam on the brakes, and then we're going to see the difference between race brakes and stock brakes in GTA 5. There's really not that big of a difference. Now, brakes aren't really that expensive, so most people don't really care spending an extra 7 grand, like specifically for this car, it costs 7 grand to put the race brakes on. There really isn't that much of a difference though. Like, look at the tread marks for where the car is stopped. Obviously the stock one stopped a little bit further ahead, but still, there's not that much of a difference. So brakes are one of those things that you really don't need to upgrade. Once again, the Sultan RS has a super transmission, so we're going to be testing a stock transmission in this car, and then we're going to be testing out a race transmission in this car, and then a super transmission in this car. Let's see what happens. So as you guys can see, all of the times are very similar. Here it is again in slow motion. Now don't forget, a transmission allows you to reach a higher RPM faster, so in a straight quarter mile like this, you won't really see too much of a difference, even though the super transmission did perform a little bit better compared to the stock one, but only by about 1/10 of a second. If you're on a track racing though, you'll see a huge difference, mainly because when you're going around turns, you obviously slow down, and if you get a higher RPM faster, you'll be a lot quicker. For this test, we'll do the same thing. Stock car, no upgrades on it whatsoever, and then we have a car right here with only a turbo upgrade. Let's see what happens. Obviously the turbo did beat out the stock car, but I honestly thought that the turbo would beat it out just by a little bit more, and the turbo is one of the most expensive performance upgrades you could put on your car, so we'll see how it compares to some of the other upgrades by the end of the video, and if you should buy it first or last. By the way, be sure to check out DigiZani. They'll hook you up with tons of discounted games, gaming accessories, discounted gift cards, and in-game currency for dozens of your favorite games. Also, check out their new platform gaming giveaways, where you can win some truly awesome prizes. And don't forget to use code Frolics at checkout for a 10% discount. So for this test, on the first car, we have a regular exhaust with a muffler on it, and on the second car, we have a full straight pipe from the engine. Let's see how they perform. It would be pretty awesome if exhaust actually did something for performance, just like in real life, how it increases the airflow through your exhaust system. That would be awesome, but in GTA 5 it has no effect. This one's pretty much just a joke, but a car that is clean with no stickers versus a car with stickers. Let's see what happens. Obviously, stickers have no effect, but while I'm editing this video, I swear to you, I was getting the launches so perfectly, and every time the car with no stickers was just a little bit ahead, but that could have been just the way I was driving. For the armor test, we're going to do something just a little different. Instead of driving normally, we're going to drive 620 miles per hour just to see what really happens to the vehicle, and we'll see if stock armor versus 100% armor actually makes a really big difference. Let's find out. So for the very first armor test, I kind of designed this really weird ass structure thing here, and I made it so the car will not be able to fly out of it no matter what, because 620 miles per hour is pretty damn fast. So let's see what happens with the very first car, and this may shock some of you guys, but this car does not have any armor on it. And you're gonna see why it's gonna shock you in a minute. 620 miles per hour, that's how fast we were driving. Take a look at the car. It doesn't look that bad. The front end is a little bit disfigured, the headlights are broken, some dents on the side, all the windows are broken, but the car still looks pretty decent. Now when we take a look at the car with 100% armor on it, we're going to drive again 620 miles per hour towards this structure thing. Of course, this one does fly up a little bit, but then when it lands, take a look at it. It is a lot more deformed and like broken up compared to the other one. Yes, I'm telling you, this is the one with 100% armor. I know, I'm shocked too. So then I thought, let's do another test. Let's just drop the car from really high up in the air. So that's what we're doing. Now this car, it's kind of glitched out. The Rockstar editor is just kind of weird, but for some reason it already shows damage on the car that is about to be done from it falling. So I don't know why it does that, but yeah. Take a look at this, it bounces, it has no armor on it by the way. The front end doesn't look that bad. Like there's a few little dents and scratches, the headlights are completely destroyed, but it still looks pretty good. Now let's take a look at the car with armor, and just think for a second, think about how terrifying this must be for Franklin, bro. He's going head first all the way into the ground. I'm pretty sure they were going at like 150 miles per hour here, not too sure, but honestly, this car does pretty well. Compared to the last test we did, now you could see 100% armor definitely has an effect on the vehicle right there. But now I want to do one more test, the train test. This truly tests how strong the armor is on a vehicle. Here comes the train. This car does not have any armor whatsoever. Let's take a look and see exactly what happens to this thing when the train comes into contact with it. Take a look at this. The whole back is deformed. It looks destroyed. The windows just broke right there. Didn't even hit anything. But yeah, the car is pretty messed up. I tried to drive it. It did not work properly. Now we got a car with armor here. And this one does really, really good. The whole shape of the car still looks normal. There's a bunch of dents, scratches, and all that kind of stuff. But the body of the car still looks to be okay. I mean, obviously it's not okay, but like it still looks pretty decent compared to the one without armor. So now that we've concluded all of the tests, we have the information to determine what order we should buy our performance parts for our cars. So let's get into it. The very first thing you should buy is an engine upgrade. Most cars only have the EMS 4 upgrade available, but out of all of the other tests in a standard quarter mile, it receives the best time out of any other performance part. So the very first thing you want to put on is an engine upgrade. Number 2 is going to be a transmission upgrade. Now, even though the turbo tuning upgrade actually beat it out in the standing quarter mile, a transmission upgrade will help you a lot more because yes, in a standing quarter mile, the turbo will help you a little bit more, but when you're actually driving on a track or you're just driving around the city, a transmission upgrade will benefit you more. So it's definitely something you want to put on second. Obviously the EMS would be first, but the transmission isn't really that expensive, so in all honesty, you really could just throw the transmission and the turbo on at the exact same time, but if you're short on money, you should definitely put the transmission on second overall. And clearly number 3 will be the turbo upgrade. It'll definitely benefit you in pretty much every way, and it definitely helps at those high RPMs, plus it sounds pretty damn nice on pretty much any car you put it on, and obviously it's going to help out a ton. The 4th upgrade is going to be armor. You're going to want to put this on definitely, just because if you continuously crash and hit stuff, what'll end up happening is the body of the car will start to bend and then it'll hit one of the tires and then the tire will stop spinning, and you don't want that to happen to you ever. It's not the worst thing because it takes a little while to actually happen, which is why I'm saying it's the 4th upgrade you're going to want to put on because it's not a necessity, but if you're a bad driver, put that shit on quick. And finally, a brake upgrade. You really don't need to buy this, but it is also usually pretty damn cheap. Honestly, it'll probably help out a little bit more on the track, but you probably won't notice it that much, which is why I'm putting it on the last thing on this list. And after all of that, honestly, everything else is purely cosmetic, so do what you want with any of that. But these upgrades that I mentioned in this video are some that you're definitely going to want to put on your vehicles first, second, third, fourth, and fifth in terms of performance. But anyways, that is pretty much going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to smash a massive thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.